getting back to the point, because there's a lot, in this transformation of consciousness, of course, there was a health transformation, there was a metaphysics transformation, there was a whole Pan-African thing. All of this was happening simultaneously.
Yes,
a lot of people don't realize that this is a simultaneous thing going on, and that there was times when the metaphysics community was against the Pan-African, and the Pan-African was against them, and there was a whole lot of stuff going on. Especially, now that it has changed and shifted, and you being part of that shift, especially creating the paradigm shifters. Yeah, remember that. So,
yes,
what was some of the real vital changes that you've seen? And then I could probably throw in between that. And
right.
When did it get so deplorable and started becoming really disgusting towards each other, if you remember? Because we're gonna bring Sonetta on one day, and me and him gonna have a conversation. But I want to make sure because everybody have a perspective, bro. And I don't blame Sonetta for nothing.
I have a different perspective again, because I understand that in bands and waves, the initial breakdown, like I said, was around 07 when the LIU kind of fell out and sides were taken, and there was a rift between Phil and Bobby, and there was students who went with their master teachers, and it was like a kung fu flick, literally like a kung fu flick. It was Wu-Tang versus Shaolin, and then that kind of layered the community out. It split it in two, and then you came with a second layer, which was Brooklyn, right? But on the back end, not LIU. Now you in the neighborhoods, now you on Utica. Now you bringing in an element that we know we needed in terms, because the promotion, you bring in your promotion background, you bring the fact that, Caribbean people gonna support because they know about herbs, they know about, Black empowerment through Garveyism, they know about metaphysics for their own profits from their islands, they know about religion, you know what I'm saying? They know about socioeconomics. They know about it all. So these are layers and elements we can't leave out. And we were able to create more of a robust community. And then the debate started, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because of the popularity of Polite. And I coincide that epoch and era post 2008, it was the reign of the Leos. So when Obama's energy came in as a Leo for leadership, right, it was a call on consciousness, because nobody speaks about how that relationship was tethered, how one created the other, how one was a herald of the other, but how also the ball was dropped because nobody caught the alley-oop. It went over everybody's head that they was calling him a Muslim and a Moor, because the paperwork that was put in prior to that from George Bush up, when I was in them courtrooms the day before 9/11, I know what was going on the records. I know how we had them on the ropes. I know what they was shook of. And I know what they changed post 9/11, because I had to be right back in court with them. So I know what the Patriot Act was hunting for. I know about the Miami 7. I know that they was targeting the Moors. And they was on the ropes. And people started wiggling. And then that's where you started seeing the feds playing on that side. So you like, oh, the game is dirty. And this is what we didn't even bring this around the fuller conscious community. And everybody's on the peripheral saying, well, where's COINTELPRO in that? Because it got to be some agents, right?
Yes.
And then, so then the debates happened, the age of the Leo. This is when Polite and Umar comes in. Polite in 09 and Umar in 2010, right? They assume a ideological battle for leadership in terms of asserting themselves in the community as alpha. Polite does it with economics, and Umar does it with self-appointments, right? Grandiosity. I'm bigger than all you niggas. You know what I mean? And then the inevitable fallout with, Sonetta, it can't be two motherfucking gorillas on one Empire State Building. And I'm sorry, I'm the King Khan of consciousness, and you my little niggas, even if you in New York, I run this. Right?
He had Seti there too. You can't forget Seti. Seti was there too.
And Seti, right? And that was the bang out. I'm saying with Sonetta being Dom King and pushing Seti and Polite, and that's offensive to, the alpha numerics of the one. You're by the one, the Leo, the sun. Now I'm gonna show you niggas how I shine. And we don't understand that we bore witness to something that it's an interplay that happens seasonally. Every turn of the cosmos, when we're changing epochs and eras, there's always a story of Set and Heru. And the Set and Heru story went down when Polite debated Seti. And it was in December, and it was right around the end, going into December 21st of 2012.
Yeah.
And Polite
I have
wore
a flyer.
the Heru on the right eye because he was personifying Set. And
Yep.
then Seti was Set. I
Yep.
mean, Polite was Heru and Seti was Set. And then what happened? Seti ripped his eye out by symbolically putting Doc on the screen and speaking about his gender. That's the story of Set and Heru in the old days. And then
Yes.
what happened? It had to be judged by the judges of Tahuti, which is the twins. So they brought it to Know the Ledge on the air because that's the Tahuti energy. And then we saw the Polite was not Heru, he was Set Heru because the ego got the best of him when in that post show when he could have accepted and acquiesced like turned down the flames of the antagonist going because remember that was the most volatile moment in the community yet and shit was
Yeah.
about to blow over and there was women and children in there
Yep.
and that's when everybody knew this community had just turned another corner.
That's right. There it is. I mean,
The energy in that room you could have lit an atom bomb with.
there's the flyer right here.
They split that shit in half, bro. It was about to be World War III, like full game wolf, like, and he had the, you know what I mean? He had that 6 point of energy with him. He had the homies holding him down, and they was about to pop off.
I
I
was in
was right
December.
in front of. I put my body in between them brothers
Yep.
because my mother was in the front. I'm like, you niggas will not violate when my mother's in here. We not
Exactly.
doing it,
Exactly.
right? And then they
Exactly.
came on Know the Ledge afterwards because it's playing out the scene when Set and Haru got to go to Tahuti as the judge. You know what I'm saying? And the judge is Judge Wesley. And me and Red was playing the judge because we had just came from the Mayan pyramids getting our red and blue star Kachina initiation Tahuti energy on of that feathered serpent of which me and him born on November 14th. We are the red electric serpent in the Mayan glyphs. Don't play with me,
That's
right?
right.
I'm Scorpio. So we know who we are as the hero twins or the Heru twins. Don't get in your feelings. So you couldn't even identify yourself in this community without hurting people's feelings and causing a splash to people too personal. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm here for peace tonight. A brother called me earlier and really gave me a reminder that the only sin, the only real sin when you go to the gates is gossip. You know, having other people's business on your tongue. You got to answer and speak for that. That's the only real sin. So he's like, yo, if you're going to speak on people tonight, if you're going to speak on people moving forward, therefore understand your assignment, who you are. You're a light bringer. Don't bring dark to the world. You know, speak life into people. Speak lovely of them. And I was like, well, you feel me?
I
So
understand, bro.
I'm going through technical glitches because I had to become a whole other person. I had a different agenda for the show tonight.
I
And
remember you said that on somebody's show.
yeah, and it's not, that's not the energy. And that's not what the universe wants from me, in
So,
terms of leadership.
somebody just said, and Silos is right. Polite came by way of Oba, which is Imam Isa's son. I mean, Imam Isa's brother, Oba.
Yeah,
Oba.
yeah.
And I remember Polite and
Telling him,
Nawar,
yeah.
I
He sold some
believe.
aim.com. Oh, not
Yes.
to you, my brother. Again, but these are some interesting stories because they've never really been told and put in perspective the way
Right.
that they deserve to.
And
And that's where he got the template from that brother for polygamy, from what I understand.
yeah. And I'm glad Silos brought
He
that
sold
because
them, right. He
I'm
sold
glad
them
Silos.
Aim.com and got that bread.
Right. 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 I'm glad Silos brought that up because I was introduced to Polite through Reverend Moon, the late Reverend Moon, who used to come with his collar to lecture. Right? And then that's why I let him speak at Sabi's event. And Sabi ended up knowing him. I didn't know Sabi knew him. I said,
Yeah,
okay, Sabi already knew him already.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sabi wouldn't let nobody else, Dr. Sabi would not let nobody else speak other than him. He shut down Professor Jeffries, Bam, He shut down all of them.
He did. He was
Shut
very
down
upset.
everybody else. So Sabi was that dude because he paid for it. He paid for it. So he paid for the venue. He did that. He helped me out and just gave me a percentage. So I remember that whole thing. A lot of people don't even know that. So
yeah, that was
and he took care of me.
Mm-hmm.
He took care of me. I gotta say that he did take care of me. Baba
Yeah,
Sabi.
I always, in the back office would, speak to Sabi about getting you to do, because he always like, I need a big concert in Brooklyn. I'm like, King Simon is the man for that. Like, let's work with Simon and get these, these bigger shows for you, because my campaign was just to get the word out and get him in front of people and get his story told. And you was the one that I felt promotion wise can put the community, the music with the message and bring that community out. And I'm like, I know the Caribbean community gonna understand this man and what he had to offer, and not be the naysayers and the doubters and man, what's this nigga talking about? Ain't got time for that. Homie was standing in truth.
That's right. Hold on. Let me just shout out your stuff, brother. I do have your links here just in case, and I put it in the chat. Make sure y'all support Blue Pillar 44. Of course, a multifaceted content creator, thought leader, man. Make sure you hit him up, goldewater.com. And also you can go through his Linktree / Blue Pillar 44, and his cash app is $Blue Pillar 44. Please support our brother, and of course support my channel. Is all pinned to the top of the chat. But I'm putting his links in the chat right now. And also, you and Red had a little presentation, a big presentation with my man Wesley Muhammad. I'm gonna put that link in there so they can repurchase that too. I'm gonna put that link in the chat too. And also, y'all will be in Nicholas for a Melanin Monday special. In New York. I got that. Yeah, I got that flyer too. Y'all driving or y'all flying? What y'all doing?
One is flying, one is driving. Yeah.
Okay, y'all doing y'all thing. That's what I'm talking about. Let me show that flyer real quick. Melanin Mondays, IRL, Brooklyn, baby. I'm telling you, family, y'all want to check it out. June the 9th. That happens to be TD Jake's birthday. So y'all make sure y'all go ahead.
We're going to talk about the 69 guard. Yeah.
The 69 guard.
That's right there for you.
1396 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York. Make sure y'all support our brother. And remember also Black Dot will be with us tomorrow next week. Support Black Dot. He's gonna be on Brother Rich show in the next couple minutes, but we're gonna do I got Black Dot coming on my show in next week. Also, I got one of my professors in martial arts under Sanuka's rule, Dr. Moses Powell, student. He's gonna be on with me on the 8th because we got that happens to be Kanye West's birthday. So we're gonna talk about the warrior's journey in martial arts, how many things he's broken and had to break to get to where he gotta get to. And big up to Nina Diamond. Big up to Nina Diamond. Nina Dunn had one of my sponsors, of course, Aquarius Maximus mom, the mothership of Aquarius Maximus. Gotta show her love. Abundance Child. Make sure we shout out Abundance Child also on WJVSradio.com. That's one of our soldiers from back in the day. Still loving her all the way. And then big up to Brother Shabazz, June 22nd. That's my grandmother's birthday. I will be speaking with Black Dot. Tafiro Asar. Adika Butler was on my show. We had a good time. And Baba Ifa Kumble. Legend, man. We go and
there's so much history to cover, man. Jesus.
Blue. I'm bringing in the feminine energy, so I'm going to bring in the young goddess. I'm going to have Paris Williams opening up for me that day. I want her to open up at least 15 minutes, 17 minutes of her time to spread love about her books because she's a writer now. She got her books out. I'm waiting for your book, Blue. What's up?
I am simultaneously writing 3 books, and
Lord
as confusing as that sounds, you know my numerovator, so you can
I know that.
Yeah, I'm quantum. I'm writing 4 books, and they're writing themselves, and I'm just catching pages and putting them in order. But they're writing themselves. I'm literally living it within a book. Did you hear the other day about they said that there's a 44 million signal coming from the cosmos?
Yes, sir.
So it's like if I've been saying that, you know what I'm saying, for how many years that I'm like, it's a resonance. They're using all my language.
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, like what is the odds of that you roll a random number in the universe? Because there's a lot of numbers in the universe. And I'm like, look how mine's just hit in the last 6 months. Like, let's just be real.
Man,
This is not random anymore.
yours been hitting in the last 10
Yeah.
years, son. Yours
In
been
the
hitting in
last
the
10
last
years. But
10.
I'm like, let's look at the most prominent ones in the last 6 months.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all linked together, and they're all telling the narrative, and it's I'm just having a conversation with the cosmos, and that's what I'm geeked at. I'm so
Well,
like full, with that responsibility of creating that narrative.
well, the hold on, because I remember you telling the story about your grandfather talking about that number 4. Talk about
Yeah.
that briefly.
So
Please talk about that.
my grandfather would inundate me with information about the number 4. My grandfather's a veteran, also a Calypso legend from St. Croix, who
Yes,
was Louis Farrakhan's teacher when Farrakhan was the charmer. My
yes,
father named is Boney, or the
yes.
Prince, from St. Croix. And his first trip here to the U.S., he came straight to the Apollo. He's a legend, and he never
E-
left. And
exactly.
I was born from that. So he would repeatedly tell me about the number 4. He'd be like, the only number in the universe that does this, 2 plus 2, what's the number? I was like, 4. He's like, 2 times 2, what's the number? I was like, 4. I was like, yo, that's fly. He's like, yeah, that's the only number in the universe to do that, Paulie. And then he told me it's 4 continents. I was like, this nigga's wildin'. He's like, Americas, Africa. He's like, Asia, which contains Eurasia and the rest of them. And he's like, Australia's the biggest archipelago. He said the fourth one would be Antarctica. I was like, you want to
Mm,
let? And I'm running with that. Then the 4 winds and the 4. He said we all come from the 4th cavity of the woman, which is the womb. So we all come through the 4. And he's like, we all tasted to get here. So stop being a
mm,
prune. You know what I'm saying? And understand who she is. A woman is a flower. And if you treat her other than that, right, then you are desecrating and disrespecting, the soft nature of who and what she is. So he gave me a lot of game, and just made it a mandate for me to acknowledge me seeing the number 4 as a pattern. So when I started seeing 44 in 2009, researching for my first lecture, Blueprint 322, I had 2 master teachers to learn from. Black Dot definitely, he was on the bill. He was one of them, but I learned from A. Rashid Kabbalah, and I learned
mm-hmm.
from Lampu, certain aspects of astrology, the
Yeah.
mathematics to go with it, because he was coinciding the two, saying that, on the tree of life, the 17th channel in the Sephiroth is a twinning energy, almost like our energy is bust. If
Mm,
you like know how to do Pro Tools and stuff, and you bust energy from one place to the next, that's how I'm looking at energy move. I'm looking at Michael Jackson when he transitioned in the ambulance in 71, but the fire truck in 17, shit like that.
mm. Right.
I knew something was about to happen. That day changed my life. That's
Right.
what pushed me back out the music industry the day he died, June 25th, 2009. I was working at Epic. I had an executive suite on the 21st floor because my company, Street Knowledge Media, was the
Yeah.
first online media company hired by the music industry to teach them how the internet work. And my client was Nipsey Hussle. And I was
Mm.
up at Epic, and I used to walk by Michael's plaques every day.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the one day that I didn't go in because I went to see the movie Transformers 2, which was about the fallen one, which was about the Archangel Michael, and they was in Kemet, and they had Mad Michael motifs in the movie, like the cat and the sprinkly sparky dust. Did you
Right.
see and remember the time?
Yeah.
Michael was all on my mind because I seen that movie and I was like, yo, they do the subliminals, and because I was decoding movies at that point. And I
Right.
was like, I'm ready to do my first lecture because that shit was too blatant.
Mm.
And then the next day, I'm looking at TV. They announced it at 3:30 that there was medical emergency called to his crib, and I see the juxtaposition of the numbers, and I was like, oh, they put him in a twist. And by five something, they announced that he transitioned, and the New
Mm.
York Press ate him alive. You hear
Yeah.
me? When I
Yeah.
say they tarred and feathered him online on TV, in the first hour or two of his transition, yeah, wacko jacko, and the accusations and they was like peeing on his grave. So I gathered all of the superheroes and we went to Central Park to the obelisk and did an open and away ceremony. And that's when my life changed, because when I was leaving that ceremony, I said, how can I know from my ancestors that he got in, that this was successful? I mean, we went into some deep shit, some deep ceremony. I'll explain it to you one day. And we on the obelisk, talking to the ancestors. The stars
Yeah.
is making configurations in the sky, shit is shifting and moving. It's all going down. And
Right.
it was
Right.
back here a year from now, and we'll show you a sign. And when I came back the year from that day to the day, and I had a brother, he's in the community named Sakem. Sakem was
Mm-hmm.
with me, and a sister named Lynn, who you also might know. That was
Mm.
the night that we went back to Central Park and we got shut down by the NYP. A paddy wagon rolled on us, and it was a black man and a black woman, and they kicked me out. I've been in the Central Park at 4 a.m. at the obelisk. Chinese, Hispanic, and white officers have seen me, saluted me, and got the fuck out my way. I have never been disrupted. The
Mm.
only time it happened was when a melanated man and woman said, I'm gonna have to lock you up if you don't get out this park, because my supervisor is not gonna, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
they got our people. So we went in
Man.
front of the Metropolitan Museum and did a small ceremony. I just came back from Serpent Mound and Ampul and Amun Ra and Red Pill were verified that we stopped in West Virginia on the way back from Serpent Mound, where we had supernatural occurrences at Serpent Mound when we went out there. But we had stopped at a gas station in West Virginia, and there was a mound in the back of the gas station, and I was like, yo, I hear a clicking sound in my ear. I ran up the mound and found a skeleton of an alien. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. And them
Mm.
will confirm to you, right? And I brought it back, and it was in a leather duffel bag, and it was clicking all the way back to getting back to everybody departed. I brought that relic with me to Central Park to do ceremony in front of the Metropolitan Museum, standing on limestone steps. And that
Mm.
is when the mothership came out, and it was out from 1:30 a.m. to 6:30 because they had a concert in the park with Alicia Keys, and that's the only reason it broke us from being in contact with that ship. And so
Mm.
Ken Lynn was terrified, and it kind of threw my experience on, because I was ready to get beamed up. So I was like, yo, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I want to go see what's up. Like, yeah, I ain't scared. Shit, I asked for
Right.
this. Yeah, let me see. Because, look, because of the community, by the time 2010 came around, I had already met Robert Smalls, who said he had encounters. I
Yeah.
already met Delbert Blair, who told me he had encounters. I had already met so many people, real time. I had already went to the Farrakhan lecture in 2006 when he came to Harlem and told his whole congregation that he seen the mothership on the top of the pyramid in Mexico, and he ascended, and Elijah was there giving him instructions and directions. I already synced all of that. I had already
Mm.
been followed by stars in 2001 when I went to see Sabi in LA with my mother, and I met Queen Sabrina and Brother Modog. And he levitated in front of us. I had already seen this shit. And he took us to Venice Beach. Word to Allah, everything that I'm telling you, I got receipts, because I would be totally embarrassed by niggas saying he's fronting. We went to Venice Beach and he showed us a reptilian, because they had a military installation under there, and them niggas could pick up your thermal mapping, and they knew that we was there, and they popped out on us. I'm
Mm.
telling you real shit, bro. So
Mm.
that night we seen the ship, and every night afterwards, that ship followed me. I brought it to every event, and I showed everyone that I could that we can telepathically talk to the ship. And shout out to the brother Mansa Musa, because I was in his penthouse on the 21st floor in downtown Brooklyn, and the ship showed up, and he trusted me, was showing him how to communicate with the ship. And him and his girl did it in blue, and he was never the same again. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
bro, this shit is not.
you talked about it right outside of the National
I
Black
did it
Theater.
with Polite in the back of the car. It was on August 13th, right? Because we was leaving Pathmark. Nadra was driving, and I had a show later that night on Block Talk with Polite. And we were driving up Atlantic, and the ship showed up. And I was like, yo, if your master teacher be teaching you about this, why are you not acknowledging this shit? It's right there. And I found out that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he wasn't about that life, but this shit, I seen that shit do a lot. It threw a lot of people off that wasn't ready for it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
luckily on YouTube, there's a brother named Eric Muhammad. He caught it that night on camera because he was in Brownsville with a student of his that was a boxing student. He was filming her, and he ended up catching the ship, and he did the zoom in on it, and you could clearly see that it was a diamond-shaped plasma ship, which is a Merkaba, which is us visiting us from the future back to the past, saying, my nigga, you got this right. You know, just keep going. So that's where my assurity comes from. That's where my quirkiness comes from. That's where my weirdness comes from. That's where my, I'm in this world by myself. That's where me talking to numbers and shit. I done seen and acknowledge so much evidence that none of this is what you think that it is. And we way more lit than anybody would ever give us credit for. You know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful story that we're playing out, and we all signed up for it. And you're suiting Simon. You know what I'm saying? Like the SS energy has been strong this year from Shador Sanders with the 144 pick. Because him being the black sun, that happened on the Sabbath, on the Saturday, the day that they put the Pope in the ground, the day that the Father goes in the ground, the Son gets picked and elevated to the spot of the 144, represent the 144,000 chosen ones that are genetically, as Trump said, he got them good genes, period. The heralding that, nigga, we got everything that we need. Oh, you let us off the leash? You closed the plantation on us? Good, we got us. From here, nigga, you can't turn your back on quadrillions of dollars and think you're gonna be okay. So we finally at this place where we can fully realize ourselves as the gods and the goddesses that all of our ancestors told us that we were. I'm just a culmination of those teachings. That's who I am. I'm the full builder. I'm not perfect. I'm not the good twin or the bad twin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's how I grew up. I'm a bright sun with dark spots. Hey, I'm a Scorpio. I lived in the underworld for quite some time and
That's
did
right.
not emerge bitten by any vampires. Today marks the anniversary in 1997 when I got stopped on a highway coming back from a lick in Boston, and they ran my ID and I had a warrant. And by 1:30, Virginia had jumped on a jet, came and got me. By 5 o'clock, I was back in front of the judge. By 8 o'clock, I had 3 years back on my sentence because I violated parole. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Right.
Blue. I know, Blue. I know you could go. You could go so
Yeah.
far into certain things, man. Let's
Yeah.
jump. Let's jump the timelines a little. Let's jump the timelines.
Yeah.
People are
Okay.
tuning in. Let me make sure people make sure y'all support Blue and Red and what they're doing. But this is Blue Linktree /Blue
Yeah.
Pillar 44. His cash
And
app.
you know,
Hold on, Blue.
yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
shout out all this. GoEatWater.com. Make sure you support that. His cash app is $Blue Pillar 44. And also remember they got a nice event that they did with Wesley Muhammad. I'm gonna put that link back in the chat so y'all can check it out. The Hip Hop Conspiracy Theorem with
Yeah.
them and Dr.
8 hour
Wesley.
lecture. Yes.
Yeah, that was a lecture y'all just finished doing, right?
Yeah. 8 hour lecture. It's on
8 hour lecture.
kingsimonthenumerovator.com. Collegiate and strategic. Some of our best work, and what an honor to work with the preeminent scholar of our day and time, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Yes, indeed.
Man.
All
Now
praises.
we can definitely talk about Dr. Wesley. I'm gonna bring him on soon too, but Wesley had put some fire to a lot of people back in the day. So I know how that was in this consciousness, and me coming out of the Nation of Islam was a breath of fresh air to see. After Dr. Khalid transitioned, Dr. Wesley took the helm to do certain debates, and they gave, Minister Farrakhan let go of the rein a little, and then they had to pull him back because that's why they don't come out and do debates anymore. Once you start seeing Nation of Islam brothers doing debates on Sarnetta's show, it wasn't ordained by the minister or the council. That was another probably portion of the Nation of Islam that's doing that. That's not the man. So if you don't see Wesley out there doing the battle rings like he used to do, he used to go into the ring, yo. So people don't realize you got to put some respect on that man's name because he did it. You know what I'm saying? After Dr. Khalid, because a lot of these guys wouldn't even mess with Khalid if he was still alive. You wouldn't even mess with Khalid, but this era we created, I think, he dropped off again. Brother Sarnetta created a great platform. It's gone a little crazy to a certain extent, but I know he's trying to haul it back and pull it back. So big up to Sarnetta, who's trying to pull. Let me bring you back on.
Peace.
Let's bring. Yeah, I think you. Let me see if you got. Yeah, let me see if you got. Yeah, you think you're back on now?
Back, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Wesley did his work, man. Wesley did his work for whatever that means to anybody out there. Wesley did his work. You know what I'm saying?
Wesley was a herald once again of things to come, because Wesley came and set things back in motion. He balanced the scales, and what he also did, again, as being a herald, he heralded the second, whoa, fourth, fifth, sixth generation of the Nation of Islam, the youth, revival that happened, strength,
Right.
the Lions, that happened under Wesley, being the catalyst, to bring a whole new energy in. And because he had a footprint already in the nation of God's and earth, and he represented
Yep.
a youthful voice and a student minister and a vibration of hip hop, he also was able to bridge generations. Um, and again, Wesley was there with us, so he's the one person that says, yes, I was amongst all of that from the door, from the beginning as well. And I engaged it for respect for the nation, which is historical, especially with us standing on the streets in Harlem. You got to show the respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, yes,
You all
brother.
right out there? You all right?
Yeah, I'm out. It's just, a lot of movement and transitioning right now, because we got to move from one space to another.
Well,
But
we're gonna try
brother
to.
Twin City just shot up. Yeah, I owe you.
We're
And
gonna
the
we're gonna have to do a
full
revisit,
show.
man.
Yeah, I owe you guys a full show. Again,
Yeah,
I'm more than appreciative of your patience and your resilience to sticking through with me with this.
yes,
But
sir.
yeah, today was one of them days. We got to run a chart on it, because I had life changing experiences happen to me back to back to back today, and this to me was something that I prepped for and wanted all day, and was waiting and anticipating. But I made a misstep with my phone, and that changed everything.
Yo, don't worry
And I've
about
been
it, brother.
having phone issues for real lately, like something in my
But
chart.
we remember we're in the
That
Gemini
Gemini,
season. You remember
yeah,
Gemini season, so that's ruled by the Mercury 5. So you know
yeah,
what
that's
that is, bro. You know
communication.
what that is.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
that
that
is. But
communication.
we gonna do it again, Blue. We're gonna do it again
Yeah,
because
we're
I
gonna do it
really
the
want to
right
get.
way. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And
Please,
and again, we got a good precursor, and I appreciate you. And
yes, sir.
yes, we're definitely gonna follow it up and do it the right way.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Be safe out there, and tell the Queen I said greetings too. Also, the Empress, I said
Yes,
greetings.
indeed, I will.
All right, take care.
Yes, my brother. Peace.
All right, peace. Man, whew, Pope Pablo, baby. Pope Pablo. We're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it 100% next time, family. We're gonna have to do it 100% next time because we can't he's traveling, too much going on. And everybody go over to see Black Dot right now. Black Dot is with Brother Rich. So I'm gonna be in the chat in a moment just to make sure I shout them out. Thanks, Abundance Child, for coming on. Abundance Child, I see Kalila. Kalila in the building. I see Kalila in the building. I see Israel in the building. Big up to that. That's right. That's right. We jumping on the Black Dot next. Lady Tongo, what's up? Big up to you. Everybody on Instagram, Facebook that came on. Carlos, Carlos for coming in. Oshun coming in. DJ Georgie in the building. What's up? What's up, Georgie Porgy? I haven't heard that name in a long. I wonder if that's the same DJ Georgie Porgy from back in the day. Kevin Wise, of course. I want to thank, of course, my moderator, Color Curiosity, Holly Hammett, for coming through. Also, Marie, thank you very much for coming in. Pillar, thank you very much, of the High Priestess. Big up to y'all for coming in, of course. Zero Bay, Hannibal, what's up, Mel? Abundance Child again. Let me shout out Abundance Child. Of course, I got to show her some love. Silos, of course, Kangos. Big up to him. One of the old school Ansars from back in the day. Everybody that came on, just want to shout y'all out. We're gonna do it again with the brother Blue Pill, man, because too much going on outside. He got to move from one spot to another. I know they just came from doing something over there at another spot. So but you know, he's very informative. And I could say that probably Blue Pill been to majority of all of the events that I got here. I mean, y'all can see I have the receipts, even when I brought Queen of Four and Phil Valentine together. Yeah, and that was 25 years in. They was not with they after they was married. This was that's the flyer. I see I got a whole album full of stuff. So y'all know we brought Nick Yama and Queen of Four together back in the day. I mean, Iris Latham is here. I got Iris Latham. You know what I'm saying? This is all my flyers. This is just one of my books of flyers. Ray Hagen's with Brother Polite. And let me close off with this. Polite was a smart person, smart brother. And he wrote the foreword for this book. And let me tell you, let me read to y'all what Polite said in this book about me, yours truly. He said, King Simon is a true promoter. Again, I am a promoter. And if you hire me to promote, back in those days, as long as it wasn't nothing crazy and negative, and back in those days, Polite was doing more spiritual and health-driven metaphysics stuff. This is what Polite said about me in the foreword of my book, No Promotion is Bad Promotion. So he says, King Simon is a true promoter. I am a living testament of the end results of above par marketing. Now, my success has helped me to help King Simon engage with his own success in light of the fact that I have my own private publishing company, because Polite was the first to publish this book. And again, I'm not caping for what he did. I'm just showing you that when he was with me, before he jumped into debate and doing all that kind of stuff, when we worked together as promotional partners, he was more about business. He knew what about business. Anything else, I never seen no craziness with his daughters or his children or none of that. I never seen none of that during that time. So I'm just closing out with this, but reading what he says. He says, therefore, when Simon invested in me, he invested in himself. A true promoter will help the person that they are marketing access potential that they never conceived of having. A true promoter will grant one the ability to confide on their own majestic spirit. A true promoter makes their client more confident about themselves and their product. A true promoter is not limited in ideals and will never lie to you at the same time. That's one thing I never did to Polite. Never lied to him. And I told him, if he is accused of that stuff, I'm not defending none of the beating of girls and pedophilia. I'm not defending none of that. I remember we was on the phone and called him and said, yo, what's going on with that? It's one thing. I never lied to that man. I would tell him the truth behind the scenes. I'm not coming up on this platform to do that. And one thing his wife and them respected about me, that I will tell them what it is and what it ain't. One thing I won't, that's one thing I will do. And I will call you on it if people calling me constantly telling me, yo, he ain't give me my money or he ain't get me. I let them know. I even had to get half of the money from my son because my son didn't do the paperwork with him. He did it with verbiage and oral contracts. Man, oral contracts is like oral sex. It ain't good. So as far as I'm concerned. So oral contracts, I'm not too much with the oral contracts, but I do understand that sometimes as trusted people, you might do an oral contract and you got to be very mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? You got to be very mindful of it. But he goes on to say in the book, a true promoter is not limited in ideals and will never lie to you at the same time. A true promoter gives you constructive criticism, which I always did, to cultivate your spirit, not destructive criticism that incurs self-doubt and pity. Always encourage people. That's why you see me put people on this platform, young, new, old, whatever. I encourage them to do what they're doing. A true promoter, closing it out, what Nesut Amunre Senatumre said, that was his spiritual name. A true promoter can get people to hone in on your talents and make those that bear witness confidence in the potential that you never knew that you had. A true promoter will empower the person or people that they promoted and get others to believe in their vision almost at will. King Simon is a true promoter, and he is my inspiration too. Thank you, King Simon Promotion. This is what Polite wrote about me. This is something that you could read at a funeral of mine one day, because I am a true promoter that love to encourage people to promote who and what they are. I've promoted people, women, and even young people that wanted to do what they wanted to do on that stage. When his daughters came out with books that he helped to write, ready to promote them. His daughters that was through adoption through Anoket. Ready to promote anything that they do. So it's very important that people realize and recognize that, promotion has never been a game to me. And when people introduce me to somebody, and especially elders, and they say, King, this is somebody that you should think about putting on your platform, I did that. And that's what people cannot, and again, the only regrets I have is that I don't have an investigator around me to investigate people. So you could avoid the pitfalls of the knuckleheadism that some bad apples might be developing and then fall off, because some people know how to talk. They know how to talk. And I give that to that brother. He know how to talk, and he did what he had to do. And when he got off into Hollyweird and all of that, I never liked Hollywood. I hated Hollywood. I went to Hollywood once and never returned. Went to Hollywood once, did not like it. So family, if you're going to be a promoter in any capacity, make sure you can read the back of my book, read my book. No promotion is bad promotion, but read what this young man said about me at that time, because he was the first one who actually published my book. He published this book. And then after I sold those books out, boom, I went to Dr. Laila Africa, who also trusted me and showed me love to say, Simon, I believe in your work. Dr. Laila Africa, Simon, I believe in you. Him and his wife said, Simon, I believe in your work. We're going to publish at least, and they published 3 of my books. Those are true believers in what you do. And there's others, but they might believe in you in another way. And show enough respect to the only thing I'm concerned about is his children and his wives. I think he's down to one wife. I'm not sure if all of them stay with, but definitely Amanette always going to love Amanette for her greatness and her things that she's holding down right now when she don't have a father to hold it down to help out. So on that note, family, I'm going to get on out, take a step to the rear and get the heck out of here. That was said by the late, great Frankie Crocker, who was one of my judges of radio. And family, more than likely this video will be edited because of the time and all that kind of stuff. I more likely will edit it, or I might just take it down. Because I really want Blue Pill to be on the screen with me. So I might not keep this one up. I might just keep this one up, or I might put it in my membership. This particular one, because I didn't like. Instead of me going through all the edited, I could put it in my membership or privatize it if I need to. It is what it is. As a matter of fact, I could also remove it off of Facebook, which I am doing right now. That's going to be removed from Facebook because I don't like what transpired as far as not getting the full effect of my brother. And I'm going to remove it from Instagram. So Instagram, bye. We're going to remove you from Instagram. We're not doing Instagram anymore. But I don't like, again, saying it to your face. I want today's consciousness to be people right there with me, so y'all can call in, talk to them, or big up to the sister that they call in about consciousness, the first sister, and big up to the first brother that tried to call in, and I had my echo chamber on, and now that I turned it down, it's all good. So if you have any questions, you can call in if you want. If not, I can get the heck on out of here, going over to Black Dot on Brother Rich's channel, and do what I have to do with that brother, and make sure I support whatever he's doing on the platform over there. Okay, so if you don't want to call in, the number is 718-210-8853. That's 718-210-8853. Again, family, I'm letting you know that I'm going to privatize this video or put it in my membership right now, right after the program, because I want my today's consciousness to have a certain perspective, a certain presentation. All right, so if not, I'm cool. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be great, wonderful. Stay strong, stay focused. Remember, I love you because I love me. Take care. Peace. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it?
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now.